Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Julene with Joe Star Astrology. I hope you're doing well today. I hope everybody is recovering or doing well after this most recent solar eclipse in the sign of Libra. And now we have a lot of other planets moving past the South Node in the sign of Libra, picking up information that we otherwise need to deal with from the past, or we need to clear out from the past. Definitely themes of the past coming up as these planets move past the South Node and square the planet Pluto in the sign of Capricorn, which is now moving direct. So I don't know about you guys, but the trajectory of the energy for me this week seems to be moving like really, really quickly. Yeah, if it's feeling that way to you guys, let me know in the comments because I certainly feel that way. Of course, depends on where all this is happening in your chart, what it's hitting you. I've got a lot of this Libra stuff. It's just, trining my ascendant. So right now, I'm trying to take advantage of the momentum that at least I'm feeling this week. So yeah, get out your birth charts and take a look. I'm going to actually show you the chart and the planets that are moving over the South Node, the planet that's ruling that, and how they're squaring Pluto, and give you some ideas of things that might be coming up, how you might be feeling, and maybe some things that we're seeing in the world. So let me pull the chart up really quick here, and we'll just take a quick look at this and see what's going on right now as we move into the weekend. And then, of course, keeping in mind that we have a lunar eclipse that's coming around to wrap up the Taurus Scorpio eclipse cycle on October the 28th. So, yeah, we'll just start with taking a look here at what's happening right now. It's been a very interesting week for me, I have to say. Okay. All right. So here we have all the planets in Libra. And you can see that Mercury and the Sun have moved past the South Node. If you remember, the eclipse took place at 21 degrees of Libra. And so those planets were behind the South Node during the time of the eclipse, which was last Saturday, October the 14th. But now they've moved past. And we talk about Mercury, which is the mind and communication and movement, moving past the South Node, picking up some kind of energy or situation from the past. The Sun, highlighting and sort of having us focus on some kind of issue. So Mercury and the Sun together, although Mercury still has not hit its Cazimi yet with the Sun, where it actually gains some kind of clarity or information. Right now, Mercury is still burned up by the rays of the Sun. And so maybe not, you're not giving us information that is quite clear yet, or we haven't heard the results of something. We haven't felt like we want to pull the trigger and actually communicate something. Or maybe we can feel something coming, but we haven't heard yet, right? It can be any of those kinds of things. When we're talking about Libra, we're talking about relationships, we're talking about diplomacy, we're talking about equality, we're talking about human rights, we're talking about legal issues. And of course, still all of these planets in Libra are ruled by Venus down here that is moving forward, gaining some momentum after coming out of its retrograde in Leo, in the sign of Virgo, which is all about our routines and our work, and the service that we provide, our bodies, and our health. So Libra is working closely with Virgo, and Virgo wants resolution. Virgo wants a plan. Virgo is, dotting its I's and crossing its T's, and it's very focused on the job at hand. So just keep in mind that all of the planets in Libra are ruled by the planet Venus, including the South Node, that is now in the sign of Virgo. So when we think about Mercury having moved over the South Node and the Sun having moved over the South Node, like I said, picking up some kind of information, some kind of familiar feeling, some kind of even Mercury person or communication or situation from the past regarding a relationship. And likely it's something that needs to be cleared out or reconciled in some way so we can move into something new into the future. We can likely coming along with the healing of some kind of a situation. This could also be something related to your health. When we're talking about things from the past, right? We're talking about Libra. It's like lower back things, kidney things, skin issues. But overall, aside from those kinds of things, it's going to be relationships and reconciling things with another party, whether that be subconscious issues and feelings around past relationships or just overall how we are resolving our ability to heal ourselves and move forward based on situations that we may have been involved in the past. Now, as we talk about all of these planets squaring the planet Pluto, which has gone direct, moving forward now in the sign of Capricorn, going over the last degrees of Capricorn before it moves out of Capricorn and back into Aquarius, which I think will happen in January. It's sort of covering old ground, right? These 27, 28, 29 degrees of Capricorn, we are covering that again from 2022, the later part of 2022, all the way through till now when it's gone back and forth. So you could see with Pluto sort of uncovering things that are important, things that affect our foundation, practical type of things in the sign of Capricorn. Now things are kind of, as Pluto moves forward, it might feel like something that was on hold or something that was a mystery is starting to come out into the light, uncovered, or at least in moving forward and transforming in some way, or dying off in some way, right? And so everything that's coming up right now as a result of the South Node, the idea here is to have Pluto help transform it, move it forward, and get to some kind of a resolution. Now we will have, and today's October the 19th. And so you can see South Node at 24 degrees, Mercury just crossing over at 25 degrees, and the Sun at 26 degrees. Now, as we move this forward, we will see, is this going to let me do this? Oh, it's not going to let me do this. Okay, so sorry, we just have to improvise. As Mercury and the Sun move forward, they will begin to make an exact square to the sign Pluto, or to the planet Pluto. And so when we're talking about the Sun, this will happen tomorrow, October the 20th. And it's sort of like when we're talking about the Sun, it's like our will and our desire to move something forward or to affect some kind of change becomes very, very strong. And there's power there to do it. There's tension in that square that's sort of like forcing a change to come through. And that's what Pluto is doing, especially squaring the nodes like it has been for all of these months. It's like now that it's come out of retrograde, it's like it's time to move forward and or clear whatever is necessary in this Libra area of your chart so that moving forward, we've got something clean and new. So the Sun is desire, it's life. And it can represent solar figures or just significant people. It depends, but definitely a will and a desire. And when it's squaring Pluto, this is a lot of power to push things forward through balancing things out, Libra, right? And primarily and likely relationships. So tomorrow we have Mercury and the sun coming together in a Cazimi, and this is where Mercury catches up to the sun, and its expression is not as obscured or held back or confusing, but maybe something comes to light, and there's an opportunity there when Mercury comes into an exact Cazimi, which is an exact conjunction, right? As long as the minutes are pretty close. I don't remember how many solar arc minutes they have to be, but the degrees will be exactly conjunct, that there's some kind of clarity or purification for Mercury, again, the mind, communication, information, that can be gained in pursuit of pushing something forward and creating some kind of change, transformation, or elimination of a situation. Now we can see out there, so we might feel like this burning desire or tension, and with Venus down here, it's something that we want to reconcile, again, something work related, health related, possibly, and Pluto it's bringing things back in, right? The node is evolutionary, so it's a pull, it's magnetic, and it can be intense. Mercury, Sun, square Pluto, be careful, because in the pursuit of trying to reconcile something, negotiate something, especially if it has to do with a lawsuit, let's say. So, arguments within, like in a trial or in a lawsuit or something, can get very, very intense with a square to Pluto. There's determination here, a lot of determination. So as we go into the weekend and we feel this tension between what is being, what we're focusing on, what kind of desire we're feeling, what kind of end we're trying to create, or it could feel very intense. And if it is something that is a difficult situation, it could be very powerful in terms of the words that are said. And, listen, it could be, there could be some kind of reconciliation here, even in the sign of Libra. So, but you'll feel that, and some kind of information or the ability to see clearly, and participate in help moving something forward. Or this could be actually like people, coming towards you. I want to reconcile this. We need to do this. Anything like that can happen, but it could feel very tense and powerful. Now, whether or not whatever's going on there is actually going to stick, or is actually going to be something that is truthful, right, and doable, we'll probably start to see that as all of the details start to become a little more visible. Things are uncovered, extracted, once all these planets start to move into Scorpio, which will be happening very shortly, into like right after the weekend into the beginning of next week. And that's when things start to get intense. And it's like, they really get down to business. It's like, well, are we going to be able to reconcile this, in the past? Like, are we in it? Or it becomes, super emotional at that point. Right now, it's just like bringing it up and laying it out on the table, right? We see out there, there are a lot of things going on in the courts. We've got the trial with Donald Trump. I read in the news today that's been pretty intense. The judges had to sort of lay some boundaries. There have been some intense moments. I also read something about an executive, a person in an industry in Silicon Valley, who has actually uncovered that he was working for the FBI, sort of like giving information. We know we've got the strikes going on with the healthcare workers, the negotiations there. We might see some action, movement forward, or just some things get really heated. So, and there could be resolutions. We see that our President Biden, is over in Israel trying to from what I've read, trying to balance things out and, you know, inject some diplomacy, sort of like be a mediator in that whole conflict that's going on over there. We'll see how that goes. And again, you never know what is truth or not truth in the media, but they're good examples, true or not, for a transit like this. You could also have, because it's relationships, you could also have people, actually Mercury, Sun, people pop in from the past out of nowhere, especially a few days ago when Mercury was at 22 degrees. some kind of sudden communication actually had that happen to me in a couple of different ways. You know, I had a family member pop back up, wanted to talk about health, and somebody that I used to know years and years ago, a friend reconnect out of nowhere, which really shocked me. So things like that can come up. Check the Libra area of your chart, see where Venus is the ruler, and look and see where Pluto is. That's moving forward now to see where that tension and where that change is trying to be made, or something's trying to be moved forward. Let me know what's going on in your chart. Now we're going to have, and I'm not going to talk in depth about that today. I really just wanted to talk about Mercury and the Sun moving over the South Node and squaring the planet Pluto. But as we have Venus moving forward in the sign of Virgo, she will make a trine to Jupiter in the sign of Taurus, which is retrograde. But it indicates that there will be an impact in some way, and we'll be trining Uranus, which is the planet of change and progress, hopefully. So we'll talk about that next video, probably next week, as that starts to occur. But I wanted to bring up the planets that have now moved past the South Node, and then of course Mercury, Sun, and the Sun is just coming into that Cazimi on the 20th tomorrow. So there could be some surprises. We could we could find ourselves in, you know, in the throes of a conversation, or trying to reconcile something, or you know, something being uncovered or revealed to us in some way between now and the weekend, whether that is something that we were personally involved in or somebody that we know. It just depends. But the weekend could be pretty intense and pretty transformative, possibly. All right, so that's what I wanted to go over with you. We'll talk some more about Venus as it moves in the next video. Talk a little bit about, I already talked about the Mars trine Saturn, right? That's, you know, that's a very powerful aspect. Mars has moved off of that trine. So I talked about that and its effect in the eclipse. But as Mars moves forward, and the next eclipse comes along, we'll have that to talk about on the Scorpio-Taurus axis, but we won't do that today. So anyway, hopefully you're having a great day. The moon is in the sign of Sagittarius. So when the moon's in Sagittarius, we tend to be a little bit more talkative, a little bit more, you know, kind of joyful, and maybe even flip it. But happier overall, and maybe feeling a little bit more sociable and conversational, which is kind of how I'm feeling today, right? Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk about. Let me know how you're doing down there in the comments. I would love to hear it. And we will see you. I'm going to stop the share here. We'll see you next time, probably in a couple of days, to talk about the planets that are moving and starting to oppose planets in Taurus from Scorpio, and the trines from Virgo to Taurus, where Venus is. So hope you're doing well. I will talk to you soon. If you're interested in getting a birth chart reading with me, or a transit reading, what's going on in your life right now, get a hold of me. My information is down below, website and email address, either works. Get a hold of me and we'll set up a time to read your chart. Until the next video, until I see you next time, take good care. May the stars forever be in your favor. Bye for now.